doing a speedy recap for you guys. Let's see. We are done with Greek mythology. The eclipse was good. Camp information goes out on Thursday. Grades are updated. Let's see. Blue sheets I've handed back. If you've not turned in blue sheet, I will need that completed before you get your camp information on Thursday. We did well overall on the myth test. Overall, we seem to be pretty smart. There were only 4 questions that we struggled on. And then, yeah. We are now starting our new book, which is going to be called Outsiders. You are going to be getting your own copy of the book that you get to hold on to and love when you come back to us. If you're a home child, I'll give you one with a Post-it note. And then we'll get into the reading of it and information from there. And there is now an Outsiders page where I have audiobook information and stuff like that. And there's the audiobook with all the links. I'll be reading about half the book to you and half the book you'll have to read on your own. And then this is our normal intro-y thing, which gives you an idea of what the book is about, because it's kind of a cool book. Yeah.
How much does this book sell for?
$10, I think, on Amazon.
That's $10. That's cheap.
I agree.
It's a book.
All right.
It's paper. You're selling paper.
So, with this one, I have a whole bunch of pictures. Like this first chapter is going to take us a bit to get through, so I can explain some of the old slang they have in here, because this book was written a while ago. But once we get past the first little bit, it starts going really fast. One of the things is this guy. It's going to start off talking about a guy named Paul Newman, like in the first paragraph. I'm going to assume you have no idea who Paul Newman is, which is fine. Do you know who Ryan Reynolds is?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll use that. Paul Newman was the Ryan Reynolds of like the 1960s. He was like in all of the movies, the super hunky one that was all super cool. You would know him from a Disney movie where he was the voice of this guy. And so, yeah, Doc from Cars, he was the voice in there. Doc from Cars was not in Cars 2, 3, and all the other ones because he died. The car died, but so did the actor, which is why the car died. And so he's no longer with us. If you ever go to the grocery store with the big people, he has also created his own line of salad dressings and pasta sauce. It is mostly purchased by grandparents for 2 reasons. 1, it's expensive. And then 2, it's because he was big and hunky when they were younger, and they're like, oh, I like big and hunky. Nowadays, you guys are like, I don't know who this old guy is with white hair. But if you go to the grocery store, he has like pasta sauce and stuff like that you'll see.
It's probably not even good.
It's actually really good. It's just expensive.
How expensive? $50?
Yes, per bottle.
Per bottle?
I don't know. I'm a teacher, so I can't afford it. I just look at it and cry. What's up?
Dang. Well, he's not wrong.
Isn't he like in the Twilight Zone?
No. Only because he was way too popular by the time the Twilight Zone came out. Yeah. He was like super hunky.
Like, they could still get him.
I mean, it could.
I swear
Daryl.
I've seen his face.
Does wage get raised yet?
Is what?
Got a pay raise yet?
No, not yet. I'm still waiting to get my second nickel. All right. Going to chapter 1. We'll jump into it from there. Oh, also, you guys know what hippies are?
Yeah.
The reason I ask is, it's not for sure, but I think the main character's parents were hippies, because you're going to find out, have cats, that the main character talking, his name is Ponyboy. Like, that's not a nickname, that's his legit parent name. His older brother is Soda Pop, and that's like
Soda Pop?
Yeah, that's his actual name. His oldest brother's name is
It's
Daryl,
Derry.
because apparently they gave
Daryl,
one kid a normal
Daryl.
name. So yeah, Daryl or
How'd
Derry.
they spell it?
D-A-R-R-E-L-L.
Oh, heck yeah.
I know, but he goes by Derry, but I know. Daryl, you're famous.
Daryl's face.
Chapter 1.
Everyone, pick him up.
When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie, a movie house is just a movie theater, old Hepcat language. Of the movie house, I had only 2 things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home. I was wishing I looked like Paul Newman. He looks tough. I don't. But I guess my own looks aren't so bad. I have light brown, almost red hair and greenish gray eyes. I wish they were more gray, because I hate most guys that have green eyes. But I have to be content with what I have. My hair's longer than a lot of boys wear theirs. It's squared off and back and long at the front and sides, but I'm a greaser. And most of my neighborhood rarely bothers to get a haircut. Besides, I look better with long hair. I had a long walk home, no company, but I usually loan it anyway. For no reason except that I like to watch movies undisturbed so I can get into them and live them with the actors. When I see a movie with someone, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's like having someone read your book over your shoulder. I'm different that way. I mean, my second oldest brother, Soda, who's 16 going on 17. Hang on, let's see if I have that on the next screen. I do. Who's 16 going on 17, never cracks a book at all. And my oldest brother, Daryl, only one L, D-A-R-R-E-L, sorry Daryl, who we call Derry, works too long and hard to be interested in a story or drawing a picture. So I'm not like them. And nobody in our gang digs movies and books the way I do. For a while there, I thought I was the only person in the world that did. So I loved it. Soda tries to understand, at least, which is more than Derry does. But then, Soda's different from anybody. He understands everything almost. Like, he's never hollering at me all the time, the way Derry is, or treating me as if I was 6 instead of 14. I mean, I love Soda more than I've ever loved anyone, even Mom and Dad. He's always happy-go-lucky and grinning, while Derry's hard and firm and rarely grins at all. But then, Derry's gone through a lot in his 20 years. He's grown up too fast. Soda Pop will never grow up at all. I don't know which way's the best. I'll find out one of these days. Anyway, I went on walking home, thinking about the movie, and then suddenly wishing I had some company. Greasers can't walk alone too much, or they'll get jumped, or someone will come by and scream, "Greaser!" at them, which doesn't make you feel too hot, if you know what I mean. We get jumped by the Socias. I'm not sure how you spell it, but it's the abbreviation for the socials, the jet set, the West Side rich kids. It's like the term greaser, which is used to class all us boys on the East Side. Quick time out with these two groups. I don't know, there's an old movie called Grease with John Travolta, and he has like the little flag. So there's also this guy named Elvis, who you may be familiar with. So this is what they're talking about. This is the outcast group that the main guy and his friends are talking about. So these are the greasers. Then the other group that they don't get along with and fight at school are the rich kids. They're going to call them Socias. If you guys remember during Greek mythology, when I called them Uranus and you guys called it Uranus, same thing's going to happen here. Their name is technically Soc because it's short for socials, but when you read that, you're going to read it as socks. So I've gotten used to every time I say Soc, and you go socks, and I'm like those. And so it's fine, it's whatever. But they're like the preppy. I don't even, is there even a term for it now? Like this type of person who wears like all rich fancy clothes and stuff like that. So that's the two different groups. This is the main character. He's sort of the outcast that doesn't get along. And then these are the rich kids who keep coming around and beating them up.
What about why is there going retrieved?
Because when I was going through there on Google trying to find pictures, and I was typing in like fancy Soch people, the dog popped up, and I was like, all right, we'll put a dog on there.
Eat them.
So I thought it was kind of entertaining.
Dude, stop.
There. We're poorer than the Socias and the middle class. I reckon, I'll put it back on it. I reckon we're wilder too. I mean, not like the Socias who jump greasers and wreck houses and throw beer blasts for kicks. They get editorials in the paper for being a public disgrace one day and an asset to society the next. Greasers are, well, they're almost like hoods. We steal things, drive old souped up cars, hold up gas stations, and have a gang fight once in a while. I don't mean I do things like that. Derry would kill me if I got into trouble with the police. I mean, since Mom and Dad were killed in an auto wreck, the three of us get to stay together only as long as we behave. So Soda and I stay out of trouble as much as we can, and we're careful not to get caught when we can't. Now, I only mean that most greasers do things like that. Just like we wear our hair long and dress in blue jeans and t-shirts, or leave our shirt tails out and wear leather jackets and tennis shoes or boots. Now, I'm not saying that socias or greasers are better. It's just the way things are. So, with it, this is the guy telling us the story, Ponyboy.
Oh,
And then he's 14 years old. His older brother is Soda Pop, and he's 16. And then the oldest brother is Derry, and
In
he's
like
20. This is their group of friends. They call themselves a gang. They sort of hang out together. Nowadays, I don't think it's like choo-choo kind of gang, but more like a squad of friends who hang out together. This was Johnny, 2-Bit, Steve, and Dally, and they're all like 16 to 17. Most of them are friends with Soda Pop, and it's just his younger brother and then his older brother. Their parents died a year before in an auto accident, and the reason they didn't have to like go with other family or go live in a foster home is because he's 20 years old. So the court said you guys get to live together as long as you don't get in trouble. As soon as any of you get in trouble with the police, those two have to go to foster home and then have to get adopted. So that's why they hang out with kids who make poor choices. But if they make a poor choice, they're going to end up getting sent to like a foster home. So that's why they're paranoid. They hang out with kids who make poor choices, but they're scared to make poor choices themselves. Yeah.
What's with the Curtis gang?
So that's what they're going to, because that's their last name. Ponyboy Curtis, Soda Pop Curtis, and Derry Curtis. They just sort of call themselves the Curtis Gang because that's the three brothers. Let's go.
Invite more people.
I could have waited to go to the movies until Derry or Soda Pop got off work. They would have gone with me, or driven me there, or walked along, although Soda just can't sit still long enough to enjoy a movie, and they bore Derry to death. Derry thinks his life is enough without inspecting other people's. Or I could have gotten one of the gang to come along. One of the four boys Derry and Soda and I have grown up with and consider family. We're almost as close as brothers. When you grow up in a tight-knit neighborhood like ours, you get to know each other real well. If I thought about it, I could have called Derry. He would have come by on his way home and picked me up. Or 2-Bit Matthews, one of our gang. He would have come to get me in his car if I'd asked him. Sometimes I just don't use my head. I mean, it drives my brother Derry nuts when I do stuff like that because I'm supposed to be smart. I mean, I make good grades. I have a high IQ and everything, but I don't use my head. Besides, I like walking. I about decided I didn't like it much, though, when I spotted that red Corvair trailing me. This is a red Corvair. I was almost 2 blocks from home then, so I started walking a little faster. I'd never been jumped, but I'd seen Johnny after 4 socias got a hold of him, and it wasn't pretty. Johnny was scared of his own shadow after that, and Johnny was 16 then. I knew it wasn't any use, though. The fast walking, I mean. Even before the Corvair pulled up beside me and 5 socias got out, I got pretty scared. I'm kind of small for 14, even though I have a good build, and those guys were bigger than me. I automatically hitched my thumbs in my jeans and slouched, wondering if I could get away if I made a break for it. I remember Johnny, his face all cut up and bruised, and I remembered how he had cried when we found him. He was half unconscious in the corner lot. Johnny had it awful rough at home. It took a lot to make him cry. I was sweating something fierce, although I was cold. I could feel my palms getting clammy and the perspiration running down my back. I get like that when I'm real scared. I glanced around for a pop bottle or a stick or something. Steve Randall, Soda's best buddy, he once held off 4 guys with a busted pop bottle, but there was nothing. So I just stood there like a bump on a log while they surrounded me. I don't use my head. They walked around slowly, silently, smiling. A couple things. One, when they talk about a busted pop bottle, they don't mean the plastic ones that you guys get today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
glass.
So if you guys have seen the glass ones like that, they're going to do this a lot in the book. Whenever they get into fights, they don't get into like your Sand Creek fights where you punch each other. They smash a bottle and you cut a fool. And so they're going to do a whole lot of smashing a bottle and then trying to cut someone's artery and kill them. That's what they're talking about. So I don't want you guys to get into a fight and then try to use your plastic bottle and be like, don't. Like, why is that guy running from? Because it's not going to do you any good. They're also going to talk about an empty lot, which is where this fight's getting ready to happen. An empty lot is just in a neighborhood where they could build a house, but instead it's just left open. I used to live over in Woodbury, and there's a lot of empty lots they turned into parks. I went through Anderson Hall before they finished building all the houses, and so they had a lot of like just empty lots before houses got built there. So an empty lot is just an area in your neighborhood which could have a house but doesn't yet. So that's what they're talking about with this empty lot. Oh, and they're getting ready to talk about the Soch wearing a Madras outfit. This is what Madras is. It's this weird
So
little
it's like
pattern
black.
thing.
Kind of looks like your penis.
So it does like that. Hers are more of a cool hippie thing. Those were more of a Aeropostale or a Gap had those for a while. But we're going to stop there. We'll pick up, we'll get to our actual fight tomorrow.
The patterns.
Oh yeah.
The patterns, not the exact. Wait, do we take
This is